Should I live in Seattle or Bellevue? I get this question constantly, and I'm going to give you a direct answer. But first, I need to tell you why the question itself is framed wrong. Because people treat this like a lifestyle preference question. Do I like urban or suburban? And it's actually much more specific than that. Let me give you the actual framework I use with clients who are facing this exact decision. I'm Brendan Klaus, Seattle real estate broker. I went to Stanford, worked at Microsoft, sold homes in this market for over a decade. I've helped hundreds of people make this exact call. And here's the honest breakdown. The price reality. Let me start with what you're actually buying. As of early 2026, Seattle's median home price is roughly $780,000 to $860,000, depending on the neighborhood and the style of home. Bellevue's median is around 1.4 to 1.6 million. And that's not a small gap. That's 600 to 800,000 in median price difference. But before you immediately pick Seattle, here's the nuance for you. For that extra price in Bellevue, you often get newer construction. Much of Bellevue was built in the last 20 to 30 years. Larger homes, larger square footage, a garage, a big yard, and access to the Bellevue School District, which is consistently one of the top school districts in Washington State. For the lower price in Seattle, you often get older homes that need work but have a lot of character, smaller lots, and a city school system that ranges from excellent to variable depending on the specific school and your specific address. The comparison isn't just about price, it's about what you value. So let's talk about commute and transit. If you work anywhere on the east side, like Microsoft in Redmond, Amazon in Bellevue, or Google in Kirkland, or Meta in Bellevue, you should seriously consider living on the east side. Commuting from Ballard or Capitol Hill to Redmond during rush hour is a real cost. It's about 40 to 60 minutes each way on a bad day, burning across the 520 bridge. Trust me, I've done that. If you work in downtown Seattle, the calculation flips. Living in Bellevue means you're crossing Lake Washington twice a day as well. The East Link light rail has made this more manageable. You can actually take the 2 line from Bellevue downtown to Capitol Hill in about 20 minutes, but it still does add complexity to your commute. And here's the rule that I use. Work out where your office is and how many days you're going in. If you're going in 4 or 5 days a week, your commute is a quality of life issue that will outweigh almost every other factor within a year of living in the home. If you're hybrid 2 or 3 days a week, you have more flexibility. So consider that as well. Okay, schools. I'm going to be direct about this because it's the factor that matters most for families and gets talked around. Bellevue School District is exceptional. There's no doubt about that. It's consistently one of the highest performing public school districts in Washington State with strong test scores, excellent programs, and competitive outcomes. If you have kids or plan to, this matters a lot, and it's a real reason to pay the Bellevue premium versus paying for a private school. Seattle Public Schools is more variable. There are excellent schools like Lowell, Bryant, Lincoln High, Garfield, but your assigned school depends on your specific address, and the assignment process in Seattle can be complex. You cannot assume that a house you love is in a good elementary school attendance zone without checking specifically. So if schools are your primary driver, Bellevue has a structural advantage that is real and truly persistent. Let's talk about the lifestyle and walkability. Seattle wins hands down on walkability. It's not close. Seattle neighborhoods like Capitol Hill, Ballard, Fremont, and Queen Anne have genuine walk scores in the 80s and 90s, meaning you can realistically do your errands on foot most days. The street life is there. The density of cafes and restaurants and small business and grocery stores is all there. Bellevue is improving. Definitely downtown Bellevue has genuine walkability now, especially around the central shopping district and the new development near the light rail station, but it's still fundamentally a car city. The blocks are bigger and longer. Most of Bellevue requires a car to do daily life. So if you're someone who cares deeply about being able to walk out your front door and be somewhere interesting in 5 minutes, Seattle definitely wins on that front. Bellevue is better than most American suburbs, but it's not the same walkability as Seattle. Culture and character. Now, this is subjective, but it's real. Seattle is older, it's grittier, more eclectic. It has the kind of neighborhood character that comes from decades of layered history. Fishing communities in Ballard, bohemian pockets in Fremont, tech money layered over those artistic communities. It's a little contradictory and it's definitely not perfect. It has a lot of personality. Bellevue is much newer, cleaner, and more planned. It's a planned community. It's an exceptionally well-run city. The infrastructure is good. The development was all organized and safety statistics are strong, but it doesn't have the same organic character that Seattle does. It's optimized. For a lot of people, that's exactly what they want. One million actually buys you on each side. Let me make this concrete because the numbers are more useful than the abstractions. In Seattle, at $1 million, in Ballard, you're getting a solid single family home, 2 to 3 bedrooms, maybe 1,400 to 1,800 square feet, likely a craftsman style, small yard on a neighborhood street. In Capitol Hill, you're probably looking at a larger condo or a well-located townhouse, maybe 1,200 to 1,500 square feet. In Queen Anne, you might be at the lower end of a single family home with some trade-offs on the house itself. Now, in Bellevue, at $1 million, you're on the lower end of the single family market. You're looking at older homes, smaller lots, or condos in newer buildings. The $1 million entry point in Bellevue does not get you the Bellevue you're picturing from the outside. In Bellevue, at 1.4 to 1.6, now you're in real Bellevue single family home territory. 2,000 or more square feet, updated kitchen, garage, good school zone. This is what at $1 million buys you in mid-range Seattle, but on the east side with better schools and newer construction. So here's my honest verdict. Choose Seattle if you work in Seattle proper. You prioritize walkability, culture, and neighborhood character. You don't have kids yet, or schools aren't driving your decision of where to live, and your budget is in the $700,000 to $1.2 million range. Of course, there are homes more expensive than that in Seattle as well. Choose Bellevue if you work on the east side. You have or plan to have kids and school quality matters and you don't want to pay for private school. If you want newer construction and more space and a more suburban lifestyle. You're comfortable with the car-dependent daily life. Neither of these is the wrong answer. They're right for different people. The mistake is picking one based on a weekend visit or a vague sense of which city do you like better without actually running the numbers on your actual commute, your budget, and your current life situation. If you're staring down this decision and you want to talk it through with someone who's done it with hundreds of people, I offer free 30-minute calls. No pitch. I'll tell you which side makes more sense for your specific situation and why. You can always text me the word Seattle at 206-899-9101. And my free neighborhood guide covers both sides of the lake and compares the specific neighborhoods you'd actually be choosing between. The link to that is in the description below. I'm Brennan Klaus. If this was useful, the next video in the series is on Fremont, one of my favorite neighborhoods in Seattle and one that most newcomers completely overlook. I'll see you there.